out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Toxic _ Nitesh was killed by Dagger Zidzikila, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Loose BESD was killed by Dagger Naruto BTC, Red Heart 12.1. Skull and Crossbones ZX_illegal was killed by Dagger ZX_illegal, Red Heart 0.0. Member Dinshku Mark Wapsith 3. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Cross. Ready to play. Free for all. Ready to play. Skull and Crossbones Protoxnet was killed by Dagger Hassan Z804, Red Heart Z. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Member Holojim Look. Skull and Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Shopping trolley store. Purchase ranks and much more at our store and support the server. Discord.gg. Ready to play. Free for all. Ready to play. Their ping 61 ms. Their ping 6. Crafting. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Shivam 56 was killed by Dagan Nadim, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Krishnagod 12 was killed. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Member Ahuyan I killed him. Skull and Crossbones Pawin _op_66 was killed by Dagger Zyro Plays ZZ, Red Heart 19.8. Skull and Crossbones Godly _Luffy 75 was killed by Dagger ZX_illegal, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Bardiap 1500 and Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Flag __ was defeated by Dagger Lord Zarai, Red Heart 18.1. Skull and Crossbones Joy the Great was killed by Dagger Asian _1, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Aquaboy 22 was killed by Dagger Araso. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Keshav _Gamex was killed by Dagger Cliffy Ka Danda, Red Heart 10.7. Skull and Crossbones Ahmed 16 with Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Danster _X_100 was killed by Dagger Lord Zaal, Red Heart 7.4. Skull. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones Shamiruk was killed by Dagger Asian _1, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Bot _Gamer _YT was killed by Dagger Starboy IE _XD, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Unicorus Gaming was defeated by Dagger Lord Zaal, Red Heart 20.0. Skull and Crossbones Lost Soul _XD was killed by Dagger Igrind 7. Ready to play. Skull and Crossbones Knife, chats, message to send, free for all. Use mouse, chat screen. Message to send. Message to send. Free for all. Ready to play. Skull and Crossbones Cool Gamer 6294 was killed by Dagger Ayush Biop, Red Heart 20.0. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones ZX_illegal was killed by Dagger Hola Jim, Red Heart 20.0. Member it's Zaro GGG. Skull and Crossbones Siam Gamer was killed by Dagger Ibrine 7, Red Heart 7. Crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Member Roshan Play, ready to play. Free, chat screen. Input message and press enter to send. Free for all. Ready to play. Member Roshan Play, crafting. Screen element 2 out of 2. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Skull and Crossbones 00 Spy was killed by Dagger_Saffron__, Red Heart 19.7. Skull and Crossbones Arasoji was killed by Dagger Arasoji, Red Heart 0.0. Skull and Crossbones Zombie SP was killed by Dagger Anand 735, Red Heart 3.1. Skull and Crossbones Gamer_Matt was killed by Dagger Pawan_op_66, Red Heart 8.1. Member Krishna God 12 Look No Walking Okay. Skull and Crossbones Gamers Plays Up was killed by Dagger Zitzikila, Red Heart 18.4. Skull and Crossbones Ahmed 16 was killed by Dagger Mritz Divalit,